So we have this woman that's going to, speak on her history as an Irish person and her descendants here in America, because at one point in time, the Irish were indentured servants here, but the Irish was given the gift of whiteness, and then they became some of the most brutal people to our ancestors. Who had roll that clip?
Hello, white people. So I wanted to give you kind of a encapsulation of what white supremacy is and how powerful it is. And you can find that in the history of the Irish immigrants into the United States. So between 1845 and 1860, the Irish made up about a third of the immigrants into the U.S., and after 1860, it was more than half. Now, the reason they were coming over was because the Irish potato famine and years of incredible oppressive abuse by the English had reduced the Irish people to dire states of poverty and disease. So they came to the U.S. to escape essentially annihilation by the English. But they got here and they were undesirable immigrants. In fact, they were not considered white. And if you don't believe me, you can go check. But the Americans had taken the same attitude toward the Irish that the English had taken. They adopted the same prejudices. So what you have are a bunch of people who are despised and looked down on, and who are, within 20 to 30 years of their arrival, were offered an opportunity to become white by organizing against black people. Some of the most horrific abuses of black folks in free states in the North happened at the hands of Irish gangs and Irish militia. In fact, the Irish were encouraged to become neighborhood watch people in New York. For history, you can look at the movie Gangs in New York and see what that was about. And were systematically turned against ex-slaves and freed black folks because they were competing for a rung on the white supremacy ladder. So unfortunately, the Irish took to this to a degree that was astonishing and revolting. But through the oppression of black people, the Irish gained whiteness. And like I've said before, the promise of white supremacy is not that you're going to get rich or you're going to be wealthy or well off or do better. It's that you have an opportunity to do better. And Irish people bought that opportunity at the expense of black people's lives. So whiteness is a concept. It's not a race. It's an idea. It's a tool. It's a manipulation. And the sooner people who look like me realize that in America, the better.
There's a pattern in America where you had other groups that came from Europe. And when they were given the gift of whiteness, immediately they turned against black folks. You could look at Southern Italians, how they were treated bad at one point in time in this country. They were talking about they didn't want the Irish around, they didn't want the Italians around, Polish, anybody outside of their particular group of Europeans, they didn't want them around. And those groups were marginalized with black folk at one point in time. But then when they gave them the gift of whiteness, that's when all of them start turning against black folk. Every group you see, even to this day, they give them at least a gift of whiteness or white adjacent, and it's like they make a pact. Listen, if I let you become white, then the terms of the agreement is you got to be anti-black racist, or I'll let you be white adjacent, but in order for you to stay in that status, you have to be an anti-black racist. It's like they literally make a deal with them. I mean, think about that. It's like people come over here. If you go to their country, they probably won't even treat you bad. But it's like when they get over here, it's like they made a deal. Look, you here, you got to be anti-black racist. Even some of our cousins, some, not all, some of our cousins from abroad come over here and make a deal with white supremacy to be anti-black racist. Like, what the hell? Like where's this contract y'all signing? All of you. Because I haven't seen it. But it's like y'all got to understand it. with the white supremacists that y'all better be against them black folk. And that stuff is freaking annoying. And that's why black folks lament a lot about they shouldn't have got behind no other group except just dealing with things on our own. But today we learn our lesson, and it is what it is. That's why we're not fighting for no other groups no more, because everybody that come here make a deal with the white supremacists to be anti-black racist. You're talking about Irish, a lot of them the police to this day. A lot of them are very anti-black against black folk. And they don't care about their history. They just want to make sure they stay good on team white supremacy. But let me know what y'all think about what this woman is saying, because like I said, we've helped so many groups. We owe nobody nothing. Trust me, our conscience is clear. We owe nobody anything, because every group that has come over here, they have stabbed us in the back.